Hi friends, it's Ruth Ann from Abundant Blooms Flower Farm in Dorr, Michigan. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you're here. Today in this video, we are going to be talking about why I sell flowers to florists. So if that's something that is interesting to you, I hope you stick around. One of the main goals of this YouTube channel is to talk about a flower farm from the lens of selling specifically to florists. That's the goal. I might talk about growing or different things, but I really want to talk about selling flowers to florists and why on a flower farm, what that means and how that's going to change your how you look at your farm, how you farm, how you crop plan, and all these different things. So that's the goal of this channel. And we just hit 500 subscribers. So was really encouraging to me. So if you're one of those subscribers, thank you so much. That's so sweet of you. And I just think it's really fun. So here we go. Why do I sell flowers to florists? So I have three main reasons. The first one, I have my notes down here. Oh, and also please forgive the background. I am trying to find the best lighting to do these videos, and it's a little tricky in my busy household. So I'm in my grow room, what I call is my plant room. So I literally have ranunculus sprouting right over there, and there's heat mats and all kinds of stuff. So, and this is my newest piece of equipment, which I'm so excited about. We haven't even used it yet. It's a commercial grade hedge trimmer. So I'm really excited about that. But anyway, so just please forgive the background. This is my plant room. So this is real life here. So all that to say, there are three main reasons why I have written down that I sell flowers to florists. So first of all, I sell flowers to florists because florists need flowers every week, at least a retail florist. I'm not specifically talking about like a wedding and event only florist, but retail florists need flowers every single week. They need them for weddings. A lot of retail florists also do weddings. They need them for funerals. Funerals are huge amount of flowers that go out for funerals. They need them for birthdays, and they send out their deliveries out to people that are sick and all that kind of stuff. Look at my cute mug. This is my favorite mug. I'm drinking some tea. They send them out for birthdays. They just need flowers every week. They have to have arrangements in the shop for people to come. So they need flowers every week. And so I like to work with customers that are going to use a large volume of flowers. So florists really fit that bill for me. And so I'm not going to talk in this video about the difference between a wedding and event florist and a brick and mortar florist specifically, but they are essentially two different customers. I really look at them as two different customers. So brick and mortar florists use them every week for different things. And then a wedding and event florist might not be open every week, but every week that she is open, or every week that she does have an event, or they need flowers, and they need a large volume of flowers, which is great for flower farmers. So to me, I've always looked at it like it's much easier to sell $200 in one spot than to be selling $20 bouquets. To me, that's just an easier method and just an easier way to move large volumes of flowers. So that's the first reason why I sell to florists. The second reason is because I find it very profitable. That's the whole goal. I am a flower farm. This is not my hobby. I do this for making money and supporting my family. My husband does have a full-time off-farm job, so I am not the sole producer of income, and this is definitely a part-time thing. We could not survive solely on this income at this time, but it is a way of producing income for my family. Did I produce a lot of income my first 3 years? No, I did not. But I have produced income the last couple of years, and I hope to really increase that after I've, put a bunch of money into investments. So, if I sell to 5 brick and mortar florists every week and they buy $200 to $300 worth of flowers from me every single week, that's a pretty high amount of flowers. So, that's $1,000 or more worth of flowers that you're selling if you get 5 brick and mortar florists that will buy from you every single week, all season long. And that's totally possible. I totally have that. And then if you add on wedding and event florists, like let's say you have 7 to 10 of those, and not every week are your flowers going to correlate with their needs, but some weeks they are, and some weeks those wedding and event florists are going to order 4, 5, 6, $700 worth of flowers from your farm, if you have the volume, the quality, and what they need, and you're growing crops specifically tailored to growing to florists and wedding and event florists, you're going to have that. I had that this past season. It was very eye-opening to me to be working with more wedding and event florists in 2024. I worked with more than I'd ever had, and I was getting those kinds of numbers in sales, breaking 500 multiple times. Now, not always. Sometimes you're just like, oh, can I get all your apple blossom snaps? And they want 40 bunches of apple blossom snaps, and that's all they order from you. Or they're just ordering the hydrangeas. But even that is a pretty large order, or they want 100 hydrangeas or something. So a lot of times I find that it's just a certain flower, and if I have the quantity that I need, they're going to buy from me. And so that is so much easier to manage if you're only managing, let's say you have 20 total florists that you're working with, and you have a certain amount of wedding and event florists over here, and then you have these 5 to 7 brick and mortar florists that you deliver to every week that are kind of like the core of your business. That's how I look at them. They're like the core of my business because they're going to order from me every single week, and they're going to order what I have, and then as I change through the season, they love it, and they just keep ordering from you. And then you supplement with these wedding and event florists that come in and need certain flowers at certain times, and they're using them in large volumes. So I find it very profitable, especially, but you have to learn like what is the right thing to grow. What are they going to buy? What do they want? When do they want it, kind of, and being reliable to them. If you're known as the delphinium grower, you're going to get a lot of delphinium orders. And wedding and event florists are going to contact you for your delphinium. And so if you know how to predict that and know if you're going to have it, then you're going to be selling a lot of it, and they're going to keep coming back to you. And then they're going to come to you for your snaps, and then they're going to come to you for your nigella. And then, then you've gained trust with them, and they're going to keep coming back to you. In the marketing world, they talk about the lifetime customer value, like how much money will this customer bring you in their lifetime? And I think when you connect with a florist, either a brick and mortar florist or a wedding and event florist, they have a huge potential lifetime customer value. The florist that I started working with 4 years ago that buys from me every single week, I don't even know how much money I've sold, how many flowers I've sold to her. But okay, so this one florist I just looked it up in my analytics on Rooted Farmer. I have sold over $9,000 worth of flowers to her in the past 4 seasons. And the first season I sold, way less. I would say the first season I sold not very much. And then the next seasons following, like I at least doubled the first season. So over 4 seasons, but the first season was much smaller amount. So almost $9,000 to one customer. I don't know how many retail customers buy $9,000 worth of product from you, over the course of 4 seasons. So that was number 2. I find it very profitable. And one of the reasons it's profitable is because you have a lot less customers that you're managing. The third thing is that florists are great people to work with. So I have plenty of florists that are really great customers. I mean, they cheer when I have literally gotten applause upon entering shops, and they're just some of my biggest customers, and they really care about me and my farm and locally grown flowers, and they really love my flowers and working with me. And I feel like it's a win-win. Like, I need them to sell the flowers, and they need me to grow the flowers. So I feel like it's a win-win. We both win. We all win. Everybody is at a gain when you're working together like this, especially if you're getting florist customers that are really committed to local product and really value that. We could talk about why local flowers are the best, but most of us flower farmers believe that, right? So if you can convince your florist of that, or if you already have a florist that's convinced of that and they're trying to get local products, you're fulfilling a need for them. And it really is a win-win situation. So, okay, the other reasons why to sell to florists are reasons for not selling in other capacities. So why would you you have flowers to sell, and let's say you don't want to sit at a farmer's market every Saturday. Say you don't want to sell at a roadside stand, or you don't have a good property for selling at a roadside stand. I know we don't live in the best location, but that's not really totally it. We just don't have a good flow of our property to even have a roadside stand. And honestly, roadside stands make us a little uncomfortable. We have 5 really small children. We've never wanted to have a roadside stand. So why sell? So if you're selling to florists and you're selling all your flowers to florists, you don't need a roadside stand. You don't need to sit at farmers markets every Saturday. Now, I do think that selling flowers to florists, because typically florists need flowers at the beginning of the week. Tuesday, I deliver mostly on Tuesdays. So selling flowers to florists, especially if you don't have a cooler, actually pairs really well with a roadside stand or something like a CSA, or even a farmer's market that has a weekend, a later in the week option. Like, let's say your roadside stand is open on Friday and Saturday, and then, your flowers that you're selling on Tuesday are going to the florist, and then the later in the week, they're going to your farmer's market, roadside stand, CSA, or whatever else. So I think it actually can pair well with selling at a roadside stand or selling to a CSA later in the week, or even a farmer's market. I have never sold at a farmer's market, and I can sell all my flowers to florists. And so, but I would caution you that selling to multiple sales outlets before you've exhausted the one sales outlet, I think just decreases your profitability, because you're stretching yourself over all these other avenues. That's a different topic for a different time. But so you're going to be better off if you're just doing, farmers markets and florists, or florists and a roadside stand. I mean, unless you're like a massive flower farm and you have all these flowers, like that's when you see that. Like Sunny Meadows has different, well, even them, like they don't, if you don't know them, they're in Ohio. They're a big flower farm in Ohio. Yeah, they don't do farmers markets, they don't do weddings, they do florists, and they have a roadside stand, and that's pretty much it. And so that's pretty typical. Like, you're gonna niche down, and I really think that the riches are in the niches, as they say. The riches are in the niches. And I really do think that that's true. I have found that, and it took me a couple years to really find my stride. And I did try other things. It's not like I've only ever sold only to florists. That's not true. So, but I do think that selling flowers to florists just can be a really profitable way. And I'll just be really honest with you. There's a lot of people that say, is there enough flower farmers? I will just tell you honestly, there are enough people doing little roadside stands. Like, they're cute and they're like totally the fad. At least in West Michigan, I could name 10 roadside flower stands of varying levels, some really little, some open all the time. One lady, that's like her entire flower farm, and she's super successful. But there are tons of flower farmers in West Michigan, and there are tons of roadside stands. I will tell you what there's not a ton of. There's not a ton of really professional specialty cut flower growers growing the quantity that florists really need. And so I think that's where there really is a need. And even for me in my area, there's not enough flower farmers out there to fulfill the needs of the florists. And even if there was, like, there's other options for me. Like, I live 150 miles from Chicago. Basically, to me, this West Michigan flower market, florist market is like insatiable. There's not enough of us, and not enough of us growing to scale. You can't just have one bed of zinnias. You can't just have one bed of celosia or something. No, you've got to like produce them day in and day out, week after week, in high quantities, like 50 bunches of snaps, 50 bunches of yarrow, like big perennial patches, lots of 9-bark. And you've got to be able to deliver that week after week after week to become a professional cut flower farmer that sells to florists. My reason for selling to florists is that I can create 15 or 20 deep relationships, long-lasting relationships with florists that I really jive with, and that are really, really on the same page with me and love my products, and I love them. And I can have fewer customers and pretty much sell all of my flowers. And so that's why I do it. I do it to sell high volumes to fewer people, and it just makes me very streamlined and profitable in my opinion. And so that's what's really worked for me. So that's why I sell to florists, because I can sell a large quantity of flowers to just very few customers, and those customers have a very high customer value in their lifetime to me. They are going to buy a lot of flowers from me in their lifetime. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe. It's been such a fun YouTube journey. Thanks for all your comments. Click the link in the description below. I have a free download all about tips for selling to florists. So if that's something that interests you, click that, download that, and you'll also be added to my email list. Be sure to check back next week. I'm going to be doing how to make the first connection. How do you even go about finding your very first florist customer, or if you have a couple, finding a few more that work for you. So if you have questions about that, like really specific questions, put them in the link in the comments. I'm hoping to do it all in one video, but potentially it might be two. So I hope that you've enjoyed this, and I will see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, get your download, free tips. We're all about selling to florists here. Goodbye.